interest in human resources, your comfort level, your questions. Since it's just us.
What
do you know about HR?
My experience has been that they outsource HR.
You
Take away from all of the stresses. But I believe HR is one of those fields that have a lot of regulations alongside
Absolutely.
of it. So you have to know what you're doing.
Heavily regulated, should be. What else? Fun? Not so much fun?
Not so much fun.
Intimidating a little?
Intimidating too.
Oh, really? What about you?
Yeah, it is a bit intimidating.
Really? I must be one of the weird ones.
Yeah.
So, well, normally for me, what I found in my little experience, I guess, on the face of the planet is that you find what you're good at and what you enjoy, and you're usually successful. And that's pretty much how, I don't know if I found HR or HR found me. I think my combining with my experience in social work and dealing with difficult situations and difficult individuals, problematic environments, that kind of thing, I kind of got led down the path to training and developed into really an appreciation of human resources, and then having the regulatory aspects to it, that was just fantastic for me. Okay, there are rules that we're supposed to follow, and there are times that we can maybe let some things go. What falls into what category, that kind of thing.
I would like to add to HR an example from Herb Keller, who is co-founder of Southwest Airlines. He was sitting in a meeting with his vice president, and then an employee came and he said that planes cannot leave unless this particular problem is solved. So Herb Keller asked his VP, hang on, let me talk to my employee first. And then he talked to the employee for 10-15 minutes, and he solved the problem, and then he came back to talk to vice president again. And then question was asked of Herb Keller, that how come you do not pay importance to the VP who is sitting with you in the meeting, and you have entertained an ordinary employee interrupting the meeting? So Herb Keller said, this employee, 10 minutes time, has saved so many hours of waiting passengers who are waiting for takeoff. So this employee is more important. And then final question asked him was, who is most important, employee or customer care? People say customer care is important, employees are not important. Herb Keller's reply was, employee care is important, customer care comes later. So people asked him, how come employee care is important? He said, if you have good employees, they will take care of customers.
Exactly.
And how simple is that? And why can't folks grasp that? And so, oh no. Okay, yeah, voice only. Well, and that's one of the things that I found easy. If you understand what you're doing and if you like what you're doing, then you tend to do it well. When you're put into situations and you're just the person who kind of navigates through the storm and you're the mediator, then I feel like human resources comes a little bit more natural to you, and that's how it was for me. How can anyone think that in order to serve customers in any industry, that if the employees are not treated right, if they're not comfortable, if they don't feel that they matter or that they count for anything, how is that going to relate positively to anybody walking into that business? It absolutely can't. And so no matter how difficult or how stressful the industry is or the place of employment is, if your employees are satisfied to some degree or if they're comfortable, you're going to do so much better as a business owner running your business and taking care of your customers. I mean, that's just, I can't even credit that, but so many people, it doesn't come easy and they don't understand that. And you know, we've all heard and experienced not everybody has common sense. Because a lot of things to me are just like, common sense will tell you that. Yeah. But if you don't have certain skills and abilities, then you need to reach out to people that you trust and people that do. So one of the last slides, I'm going to drive you crazy. One of my last slides is, and you don't necessarily have to go to it, is if that is not your strength, then you need to reach out to someone that you're comfortable working with, because when you're talking about reaching out to your angels and or the fools, however you want to describe them, and repaying them back, your business is probably one of the biggest ventures that you will ever have. And so you want to start out as positively as you can, on the right foot. If you're borrowing money, obviously for all of the reasons that Patrice talked about, you want to be able to repay it, but you want your business to be successful. Who gets into business to fail, to lose all of their money, to lose all their credibility? And so how HR fits into that is really establishing what you're doing, how you're doing it, setting it up right. And so not to intimidate folks that are really struggling because things weren't necessarily established properly. You want to, when you realize that you have to make a change, don't think about it too long. Do what you need to do, get people on board, educate yourself, find out what you're missing, really connect yourself with people in the industry that can help you. Here, I'm from the East Coast, and I love the East Coast, but out here I have found nothing but support. People that are even in the same industry that I'm in, whereas in other places there'd be just so much competition. People are willing to really help you along, and you really need to embrace that. And a lot of what I'm doing with human resources is really just that. My hope is that with this and with our collaboration, that we can reach businesses and entrepreneurs that have the passion, that have the mission, that have the drive, and don't really know where to go. And that's okay. I think we were all there at some point. We didn't just wake up, you know, at birth, went to school, and then we knew what we were going to do. But we went through that, and we can help others through it. And as we get folks that are coming in that are struggling at some level, our hope is that we can encourage them to walk out of here with some other resources just among themselves as well. And with human resources, that's just pretty much it. There's a comfort level that I have, and I don't know if that is a good thing or a not so good thing, but I'm comfortable dealing with sometimes difficult situations. And I think that's just come over time. And so really when you pair that with the employment situation, you just sit down and you have a conversation 9 times out of 10. What's going on? What makes sense? If you have good policies and procedures to fall back on, that's what you go to. If you don't, then you have to go back to the drawing board and get those started so that everybody's on the same playing field, everybody knows what's expected. One of the slides here is talk about recruiting. And, you know, well, I have a staff of 10 and we have these problems and that problems, I'm not really dealing with recruiting. Okay, that's fine, not today. But you're going to have to establish a framework from which you want to work, and not everybody might be on that on the same accord. So you may lose some. You don't want to go back and start hiring the same type that didn't work out to begin with. So you want to make sure that from step A all the way down, that you're kind of lining things up in the way that makes sense for your business. And the thing that I'll throw in there is, even when it comes to policies and procedures, one policy is not the same and does not make the same sense for every business. So if you have like a dress code, for example, number one, have a dress code so that people know what to expect and they know what the culture is of the company. But a dress code for one business, banking, for example, clearly is not going to be the same for maybe teachers or let's say home care, home health care, for example, that kind of thing.